A young boy from the misty hills of Kerala, the eldest of 10, raised in faith, shaped by simplicity, a dreamer perhaps, quiet, observant, he watched the rhythms of nature, listened to the whispers of the wind, and deep within him raised a call, not loud but unmistakable. He followed it across states, through war zones, through sickness and setbacks, through classrooms filled with children and corridors echoing with silence and suffering. He followed it when the road disappeared, when the train stopped, when the doors closed, when no one else could see the path. He walked it by faith. A man who stood firm when the ground trembled, a leader who stayed calm when chaos ruled, a builder of dreams not for himself but for those the world forgot, a priest, a teacher, a founder, a shepherd, a quiet revolutionary in a white cassock with hands that plant hope, eyes that see possibility, and a heart that hears God even in the cry of a wounded child. Today we celebrate not just a name but a legacy. Reverend Father Joseph Puthenpura, celebrating 50 years of priesthood, 50 years of fruitfulness, faith and fearless love. It is with deep joy and gratitude to God that we celebrate the golden jubilee of the priestly ordination of Reverend Father Joseph Puthenpura, a humble servant of God whose life has been marked by unwavering faith, courageous service, and tireless love for the Church and the people of God. Father Joseph Puthenpura was born on October 21, 1947 in Vilakkumadam Parish, Pala, Kerala, as the eldest child in a large and devout Catholic family of 10 children. He was baptized in Varur Parish and his family later moved to Kumali. He received his early education at the government school in Kumali and completed his high school at MAI High School, Kumali. In 1965, responding to God's divine call, Father Joseph Puthenpura joined the Apostolic Prefecture of Jalandhar, which had been established in 1952 with Monsignor Francis Alban Sobrick OFM Cap as its first Prefect Apostolic. It was Monsignor Sobrick who then sent him to St. John's Minor Seminary in Sardana, Meerut, to begin his priestly formation. However, his first year was marked by serious illness, leaving him physically weak and mentally discouraged. He decided to return home, but it was at that critical moment the Indo-Pak War of 1965 broke out and all civilian trains were suspended, making it impossible for him to travel home. What seemed like an obstacle became a turning point, a moment of grace that saved his vocation. As the war passed, his health returned, and so did his commitment to the path God had chosen for him. He began his philosophical studies in 1967 at St. Charles Seminary, Nagpur, followed by a year of regency in 1971 at the Jalandhar Cathedral, during which he also completed his B.Ed degree. That same year, India was drawn into the Indo-Pak War of 1971, the second war of his lifetime, reinforcing the reality that his vocation would be shaped not only by study and prayer, but also by pastoral resilience in turbulent times. In a significant ecclesiastical development, the Apostolic Prefecture of Jalandhar was elevated to the status of a diocese in 1971, with the Bishop Simborian Keeperath appointed as its first bishop. In 1972, he commenced his theological studies at the Papal Seminary, Pune, and on 14th September 1975, he was ordained a priest by His Excellency Bishop Simborian Keeperath on the feast of the Exaltation of the Holy Cross at Holy Cross Church, Ludhiana, marking the beginning of what would become a 50-year legacy of service. His first appointment was as secretary to Bishop Symphorian and assistant parish priest at Cathedral, also ministering to the faithful in Sansarpur parish. In 1967, he was appointed assistant principal of St. Francis School, Amritsar, and later in the year 1982, when Father Timothy was called back to England by his provincial, Father Joseph became the principal, a role he held for 16 years. Under his leadership, the school flourished academically and morally, becoming a beacon of quality Catholic education in the region. His time in Amritsar coincided with some of India's most difficult chapters. In 1984, he witnessed the turmoil of Operation Blue Star, and in 1988, the follow-up Operation Black Thunder, both carried out at the Golden Temple in Amritsar. Amidst military conflict, fear, and social unrest, Father Joseph remained a calming pastoral presence, faithfully guiding the school and community through fear and uncertainty. In 1993, due to health issues, Father Joseph Puthenpura underwent major surgery in CMC Hospital, Ludhiana, and stepped down from his role as principal. While recuperating at the bishop's house, he was once again called to serve. In 1996, he was appointed parish priest of St. Joseph Catholic Church, Puthenpura, where he served with dedication for 9 years and 1 day. It was during his tenure in Puthenpura that a new and deeply personal mission began to unfold, one that would bring hope to the most vulnerable. In 1992, the idea of establishing a charitable institution for children with mental and physical disabilities was proposed by Bishop Symphorian Kieperth. Deeply moved by the plight of such children, Bishop Kieperth envisioned a center of love, learning, and healing, and Father Joseph Puthenpura was entrusted with helping bring this vision to life. In 1993, the St. Francis Home Society was formally registered under the Societies Registration Act of 1860. However, the journey that followed was not without challenges. It took 4 years to identify and acquire a suitable piece of land. Finally, in 1997, 21 acres were purchased. However, shortly after the land purchase, an unexpected problem arose. The Panchayat road across the railway line, which provided access to the land, was closed due to the construction of a new railway station. What followed were 4 long years of negotiations with the railways to secure a crossing and access road on lease. Meanwhile, the diocese had exhausted its funds. Bishop Symphorian informed the society that further development would have to be funded independently. For years, the project remained stalled due to lack of financial resources. Yet Father Joseph Puthenpura never gave up. His perseverance, quiet trust in God, and steadfast leadership kept the dream alive. Today, Francis Home stands as a beacon of compassion, serving children with mental retardation and hearing impairment, offering them education, care, and dignity. It is a living testimony to his commitment to the marginalized and forgotten, and the providence of God working through human hands. Father Joseph Puthenpura's priesthood has spanned some of the most significant moments in India's modern history. He has lived through 3 Indo-Pak wars in 1965, 1971, and most recently in 2025. He ministered during Operation Blue Star and Operation Black Thunder, turbulent times that called for spiritual courage and deep pastoral care. Through it all, he remained unshaken in faith and unwavering in service. Now, as Father Joseph Puthenpura celebrates 50 years of priestly ministry, we thank God for a life lived in deep fidelity to the gospel, a heart that never stopped giving, and a mission that continues to touch lives across generations. From the quiet hills of Kumuli to the fields of Punjab, from the seminary halls to school classrooms, from war zones to the front lines of charity, Father Joseph Puthenpura has remained a faithful servant of Christ, bearing fruit that will last. May the Lord continue to bless him with health, peace, and joy in the years to come. Are the multos años, dear Father Joseph Puthenpura. Congratulations on your golden jubilee of priesthood.